right, here we are. What is up, y'all? I guess you know who all's here tonight. We have the lovely Emery Morgenstern, his dashing self, with his lovely prime combat training background. I dig it. We've got Mr. Sue LaRue sitting to Emery's right, his right-hand man, his wingman. Yeah. And then Mr. Robert T. Toombs, the man himself with mountain readiness. What is up, y'all?
What's shaking?
Oh, we already got Ezra in the house. He's here already. What's up, Ezra? That's a good kid right there. A real good kid. So Emery overcame his technical challenges.
Yeah, it's a rough go with Sue and I both in technology. It's not really not a good match.
We're hearing it again. He's back, the piggy, but it's all right. We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. So tonight's giveaway will be a tumbler, one of these, but with my logo on it. And so the giveaway for that is hashtag AA Tumbler. So you guys hit that, you know the drill. You do that, that puts you in. We'll automatically draw it in a little while, and somebody gets a free cup. So, and that's U.S. only if you're watching from afar. We'll work something else out. Yeah, just like I have to ship stuff to Canada sometimes, and dude, that's just a bitch. I mean, it's tough. Oh, you got to fill out customs forms and all this crazy stuff. It's retarded.
I did not realize that. I didn't realize that. I'm sure it's going to get a little bit more interesting with all the smoke and fires that are going on in that area.
Yeah, they're still burning. You know, it's funny they're using that as the reason, the explanation for we need more money for climate change, even though the fires were all what's that called? Arson. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
So,
man-made disaster. That's what they're called.
Yeah, man-made disaster. So, but climate change is the problem. So you got to fix that.
Thank you, Al Gore.
Well, yeah, he's still out there. He owns one of the biggest carbon exchanges in the world. And
yeah, he was like the forerunner. That was the granddaddy of it all, right there.
Yep, he was the first one to dream this bullshit up. We're outside the city.
Yeah. So having said that,
close enough.
We do add a lot of damage. Just saying, people are damaging.
The people do? Yeah, the people certainly do. I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, carrying capacity is a thing for a reason. So, yeah, and humans violate it like it doesn't apply to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and people are saying in the comments that the wind the air sucks around where they're living because of those fires. So
it's been horrible all day today. It's been. I woke up. Yesterday. It's interesting how the winds move. Yesterday was this beautiful, clear day here, and today, man, you can't even see your headlights.
Really, that bad?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
How you out? You're no, you're not. You're not there in North Carolina either right now, are you, Sue?
I'm actually out here in Phoenix, Arizona. I've been out here doing a documentary I'm participating in a documentary for the Outdoor Channel on a great American named Frank DeSoma, who started a company called Patriot Ordnance Patriot Ordnance Factory. And he was the originator of it. And tragically, he was killed a few years ago in 2022 in a vehicle accident. And his company is being run by his son, Cody DeSoma. So the Outdoor Channel was looking for, American-made type things. They did documentaries on I think it was Sig Sauer or maybe, and then some of the bigger ones, Smith & Wesson maybe. But they were looking for a smaller company, and POF, or Patriot Ordnance Factory, jumped right out at them. And the family called me and said, "Hey, you've known this guy for 20 years. Would you come out and be part of it?" So I'm out here for the next couple of days.
Awesome.
That's cool. And you're doing another documentary here soon with somebody down here in Florida, right? You're coming down here to shoot something like that, right?
That's not really a documentary. Emery and I are going to be involved in audiobooks. We're gonna try to do audiobooks on by a true hero. His name's John Mullins. He was two Silver Star recipient in Vietnam, and I don't know how many Purple Hearts, 2 or 3, Emery? Two or
I think 3.
3 Purple Hearts, a Maxog veteran, and he's got a series of novels. Some are based on some of his Vietnam experience, kind of a historical novels. But if you read them, though, you can tell they're true stories. But the one we're going to turn to audiobooks from Tactical Rifleman, it's basically a novel by John Mullins done in audiobooks by Tactical Rifleman. So we're going to go in there and try to do the characters with using everybody that works with Tactical Rifleman and some other.
Oh, that's cool as hell.
Yeah, that is awesome.
As awesome as John is, and this man truly is a national treasure. This is a hero. We don't not you.
You're sitting in the hog pen again. Yeah.
As incredible as he is, apparently he's a horrible judge of character because he picked 3 people that can't read to narrate his books.
It's true.
3 people that can't read. Oh boy! Hey, have you guys tracked the Hunter Biden deposition that's forthcoming? Everybody's so excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's Thursday or tomorrow. I guess he gets deposed, and it'll be the first time he actually has to answer questions about the laptop and stuff under oath. Like, can't really duck it this time.
Well, under oath only means something to a very few people, it seems, these days.
Yeah. And it certainly doesn't apply to people with the last name Biden. So.
Yeah.
or Clinton. We talked about this a little bit last week.
Yeah,
There's
Clinton, Biden, Pelosi, Obama. There's a list of them. Schumer. All those. The names. That none of that applies to them.
Well, unfortunately, that's what happens to the breakdown of society. The rules are meant for everybody except us, type thing, and then pretty soon nobody wants to follow the rules.
Yeah, it looks like the DOJ is going with the French model. Let them eat cake, basically, just like we can do as we please because they have no recourse. And, screw them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, there is no teeth to this deposition. I mean, Congress can ask all the questions they want, and he can mislead them, or he can say, "I plead the fifth," like we saw with Lois Lerner from the IRS, or they refuse to answer the questions, and Congress really doesn't have the power to prosecute or imprison. So,
he's walking. He's going to walk just free and clear
as
you can get.
This is a civil suit. He cannot take the fifth. This is a civil suit. So the owner of the laptop shop, the computer repair place in Delaware, has filed a libel suit against Hunter, and that's what the deposition is for. And that's why so many people are excited about it, because it is a civil suit, and he cannot plead the fifth. He has to answer the questions.
Oh, no, that's exciting. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. So now his high-paid lawyers, of course, are going to do everything they can to obfuscate those points, but he has to answer the questions. And I figure. I forgot his name. He's the guy who wears the beret with red hair. He looks like the dude off of Mythbusters. But his lawyer can press the issue and actually tell the judge, can you make him answer? Or he'll be held in contempt. So this is kind of a big deal that they might actually get some answers out of him that he's never been willing to give before, because otherwise he'll perjure himself or be held in contempt. So
at the very least, maybe he'll give us some slip-ups, that might be kind of leading towards the truth. To be honest, if there's one law that they should implement today, they should implement, would be anybody at the higher echelons of government, if they are under, or anybody connected, if they're under some sort of a lawsuit, right? Public defender. They should not be allowed to get those high-dollar lawyers. They've got to get the cheapest, crappiest public defender, and now you better prove your innocence that way.
Well, but see, you also know how that system works, because then the legal wheels will simply take a very high horsepower firm and tell them they're doing it pro bono as a public defender, and they'll do it just because they got to keep the system going. That's why it's so rigged. I mean, you'll never get that high horsepower law firm as your public defender, but he would.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
there's a reason they call it the establishment. Hello.
What are they going to actually ask him though that we haven't already seen? I mean, he's laying there with a crack pipe in his mouth on the pictures. For God's sake,
did you guys see the recent picture of him that came out where he was snorting cocaine with his brother's minor daughter, and then doing other stuff with her?
Wow.
His brother, his dead brother's minor daughter.
Now, I did not see that picture. Not that I'm surprised in the least bit, but that being stated, I mean, how many questions do you need to ask at this point? There's pictures. Everybody say, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Isn't your dead brother's minor daughter called your niece unless you're in West Virginia, and then it's like your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was illegal. Incest
should be.
What part of it are you asking about? Those the snorting the coke part, or the underage? I mean, the crack pipe, the hookers. I mean,
yeah.
Well,
I'm no lawyer, but there's at least 5 big time felonies here.
Yeah,
there's a lot. So, I mean, I'm looking forward. I'll have to tune in. And check it out, see how deep they go down the rabbit hole. But for some reason, I just have this sneaking suspicion that it's just not going to go off the way we want it to go.
It never does. It never does. So, because again, if he does perjure himself, like you said, like Matt and Kelly say here in the comments, if he does perjure himself, or if he is held in contempt, DOJ won't do nothing to him. They're just going to be like, "Oh, that's silly judge," Yeah, no big deal. And nothing.
That was my point. They'll end up getting a plea deal like this last round of charges. Well, he'll plead out, and if you and I would have failed to fill out that form correctly, or if we had an addiction and bought a firearm at the same time, Emery and I would be out of business. We couldn't be on a range teaching anybody anything. Nope. And they'd come to our house and confiscate what's left of our weapons, and we'd be cellmates together. Yep. They'd make sure we did some jail
y'all
time.
be in the booty house. And
that's the big punishment. Jail, man. Okay, I gotta stay in jail with him. No.
Each other.
The Clintons, please.
Emery's like, that is cruel and unusual punishment, and that is against the Constitution.
I get the top bunk because I wet the bed. That's
oh God! Raindrops.
Golden showers, yes.
You can't get any better than that. Yeah, luckily we're definitely past that 60-second mark.
So what do you know about golden showers?
I didn't cuss.
That's right.
And, an insight into the mind of Sularoo.
A deep, dark place, it sounds like.
No.
It would be a kind of a funny TV show.
Shallow but really mucky. So
that would be. We need to get you and you guys on that show. What is it for the 60 days in or whatever? That'll be
put them two together as plants.
Them together as their teammates. Working side by side, and that would be awesome. I would tune into that every single week.
You could pay per view that. You could pay per view.
Oh, yeah.
We'd be running that cell block within 72 hours.
Yeah, guys, my gang can beat up all your gangs. All right?
Yeah. Who's your gang? That guy.
Does anybody have a contact for that show? We need to reach out.
That's not, well.
Come on, Sue.
You can go 60
days?
Jail.
You can do 60 days I don't have on your head.
No.
Sue does have a contact, is what it sounds like.
In prison.
In prison on the inside. Yeah.
Hey man, I'll help you guys out. I'll slip you a couple shanks and stuff. I mean, we'll figure a way. I'll get you the shank in the cake.
All I'm saying is, don't start washing socks, because what it leads to rhymes with that, and you don't want no part of that. That is not a side hustle. I don't care what they tell you.
This is supposed to be on the after show, isn't it? This part of it?
Before, after, in the
Drifts
middle. No,
Drifts in now and again.
I can't be an inmate because most of them wear orange coveralls, and that clashes with my hair. I'm a ginger.
It's okay. Give it a couple of years too; it'll all be white.
I think that's true. I think
it'll look like a candy corn.
I'm still too pretty for prison. I think that's my issue. I need to get another 10, 20 in me before I can. What in the world is that?
I'm getting instructions. Sorry, y'all.
No apple juice.
And we were instructed to. He's reaching. He's not reaching.
I reached. I moved. It's no longer in the shot. It's all right. Anyway.
Cool.
Mel came in here. She's like, move that. And she was right. I didn't do that. I didn't know it was in the shot.
Whoops.
Yeah, you'll have that. It happens from time to time. So, But yeah, that's just an example of the two-tier justice system that we keep talking about, which keeps happening though. And they don't even deny it. And they don't even deny it because they have zero fear, none whatsoever. You know, the other day, Putin or Biden. Did you guys see what Biden said on live TV yesterday?
I try not to watch
listening to that individual speak.
But just this line, he sat down and he said, "I started before you." He's talking to a panel, and he said, "I've sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of other important things." Looking right at the camera. He's actually starting to admit it now. You know, his brain is slipping. The clutch is wore out in that thing.
Oh yeah, it's gone. It's gone. So, yeah, it's smoked.
I thought he was trying to make a joke when I saw it. I don't know if he was.
No,
it didn't come off as funny as all.
He wasn't trying to make a joke. His brain was just in neutral, and his mouth was running, and the truth was falling out of it. That's what happened to him.
Oh. The truth is falling out of it. No, it is. It is.
He's not going to do it intentionally, but it will fall out because he's, like I said, the clutch is wore out. So, hey, Holly, let's run real quick, guys. Let's get our spot in for sponsors because we're picking those up now. We're actually getting to be kind of professional.
Nice.
Kind of professional.
I'm at Firearms Depot with my good buddy John Faulkner. This may look like a little deja vu to some of you guys.
That's right.
It's been a while since we've been on camera together.
Made a couple videos.
We made a couple videos together. Yeah. So. And you guys don't know, but we've got the glorious Nikki behind the camera again today. It's like old times.
Yeah.
So how's the firearms industry, man? You stepped out of one. You're in a new thing now.
Yeah.
Still the same thing, but
owner operator of firearmsdepot.com.
You guys hear me talk about it all the time.
I have a fantastic crew.
He does.
That I've worked with for a long time here. And, we've been doing absolutely amazing.
And you have a whole other side of this operation that probably most people don't even know about. And that's the custom safes, vault rooms, all that stuff.
Yeah, so own multiple businesses, Firearms Depot being the largest.
Yep.
But then I also have a company called TK422 Customs, where we make really high-end custom safes and vault rooms that, we travel all across America installing these things.
Yes.
And it's a super cool business. I have an amazing crew.
And you can work with the client, see what their vision is for what they want, and then you bring a whole nother level of stuff to that. There's video screens, there's bars in these things. There's everything in these vaults.
Yeah, pretty much whatever you're looking for, we pretty much have.
One-stop shop for all your firearms and firearms-related needs.
That's right.
Give them the website, John.
Firearmsdepot.com.
There you go, guys. Hit the link, check it out, and start saving some money on your gun stuff and support an awesome company.
Appreciate it.
That's a dear friend of mine. I count him among brothers. He is an ultralight hiker, and that's a little frou-frou, but I won't hold it against him. So.
And where's he out of?
He's out of Gainesville, Florida. He runs that. He's a local guy to me. He actually has a very, very nice thermal for me that I will be picking up soon. That you guys will see some videos on because it's the first ones of these to hit the country. I get one of them, and you're going to see some cool video out of that. But yeah, he's He came from a much larger online firearms retailer that was actually his idea. He started. It exploded, and then the money guy there figured he would take the credit, and he terminated that relationship. And so John recreated it, and he's doing awesome. And he's a great guy and a dear friend of mine. So John Faulkner at Firearms Depot, check him out.
Yeah, when Emery and I come down and see you in August, or I'm sorry, the last week of July. Is that the last week of July, Emery? We're going to Sarasota?
Last week of July, we're recording. Yeah.
Shit, last week of July, I'm in North Carolina.
You said the first 2 weeks in July.
Things changed. Something came up, and I have to be there for it. And
All right. Well,
I didn't get the schedule. I just got a phone call. I got to be there. So.
well, hook us up with Firearms Depot.
Oh, I'll do that. I'll send you guys by for sure. You'll love it.
I will bring my Revolution, and Emery will bring my other Revolution
What Revolution?
he borrowed, and
I know not.
we're trying to help these guys behind me here. They lost their East Coast distributorship, so it's time that the people on the East Coast, where we all live, need to understand that these rifles that are made out here in Phoenix, Arizona. I mean, you're going to have one gun. If I was to lose all the weapons I have, and I've got a bunch of them, I would keep only be allowed to have one. It would be the one that is made here in Phoenix, Arizona at POV. So I need the people on the East Coast to understand that. Look at these things.
You need to sign them up as a sponsor, and then we'll all carry their guns.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, I'm not cheap, but I can be bought.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
I tell you what. on the rocks, right? On our little
after show. Okay, guys, let's back up.
Lay out some information. We'll talk about POF. For those people that aren't familiar, we'll kind of set the ground for you.
Yeah. So Emery, you and I talked about that earlier, but these other two didn't have no input. So we were thinking of the after show and the name for the after show, and we were thinking of calling it On the Rocks. And then we know there has to be something else. And we were thinking Sack of Rocks or with a sack of rocks, you know?
On the rocks with a bunch of rocks.
On the rocks with a bunch of rocks. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, that was during you guys were texting me today. I thought I sent you guys some cool ideas. You guys didn't like my idea?
You did. You did.
I must have missed them, dude. I didn't. All right. I'm not as completely caught up on the group. Well, spit them out. You're here now. Let's do it now. We'll see what these guys like.
I got to go back because I can't remember what I said.
I had an idea that at least T kind of liked, which was angrier.
Yeah, I remember Angrier. I remember that one.
Angrier, that was a good one.
Put On the Rocks with Angrier. I mean, we could
Actually,
that's
Angrier is the Mel uses that for something.
I was going to call it smoke break because I haven't smoked after
I remember that smoke break
after
smoke after sex, but I haven't had a cigarette in years or sex. Let's see.
Good thing you're in.
And then I said that Emery shoots blanks, and then we got into where he shoots blanks.
They got into a whole other dissertation of.
And then it went to On the Rocks. Okay,
shooting.
Yeah.
Come on, catch up, old man. Let's go.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're thinking On the Rocks, and you guys can throw out suggestions for what you think the after show is going to be called, because we need to come up with a name for that mess that it will be. So, you guys see the tornado in Indiana? Have you seen the video of those?
No, and you know what? I just missed it. I just got back to Indiana yesterday.
I know you were out of town. You showed up
right
after the tornado, of course. So. Any damage? They talk about it on the news. You hear much about it? I watched the videos of it. It tore some shit up. But
yeah, there's a couple of phone lines and stuff down here, but nothing major. I mean, half the storms here knock down trees. So
right,
it's hard to. I know it's hard to believe, especially in a state that's perfectly flat with no trees and cornfields everywhere. That wind could take out a bunch of stuff, but nothing against Indiana.
That was like the Derek Chico or whatever the hell they call it. They went through Iowa, and I was like, "What did it blow down? What is there to blow down? Would it blow the corn down? No offense to Iowa folks, it's just a joke, but still,
right? It's just a joke.
Well,
There's
that's
good things in Iowa as well, somewhere.
Only place really like to drive through worse than Iowa is Nebraska. Sorry if you live in Nebraska, but Jesus,
It
like,
is
I want
rough.
to check myself.
you forgot Kansas and Nebraska. Both
Yeah.
sides.
Yeah, but they're really kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Ohio,
Except one's colder.
I gotta driving from here
One's
through
got more
Ohio
geese in the winter.
for me is kind of torture. Especially Ohio changes their speed limit every 3 miles. So it's
You
like
had me-
oh,
you had
50,
me-
no, 45.
You had me when you said driving to Ohio. I was done right there because that's a great place
No,
to be from.
that make you scrub your teeth with a pistol. There's no doubt. I mean, right there. So it does me. I mean, as soon as I get through Charleston, heading towards Indiana, because I have children and family that still love that state, and so as soon as I get through Charleston and hit the Ohio line, it's just instant depression. All the way.
Yeah. I feel
You know
the
what,
same
T?
way.
I resent you calling me children.
Right. Well, you're very youthful looking. I mean, look, you don't even have any gray or nothing. Look at that beard. It's beautiful. Do you just for men that?
You know what, T? I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to stop that.
I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to stop that. I'm gonna give you
Well, all those states you guys mentioned are great reasons for learning carpentry and learning how to build a house, because none of those states do you want to have a trailer in, be in a trailer house.
No.
And you want to make sure you have a good foundation, especially Oklahoma, northern Oklahoma, and North Texas. There's I've seen some of those tornadoes. I haven't actually been in one, but I've been up close to them, and that's a scary thing. I feel for those people that have to go through that. That's a traumatic event.
Yeah. We had a
and that's the thing about preparing for tornadoes. Sorry, T. Preparing for tornadoes is like
good. Hit it.
the hardest thing in the world to do, because the only thing you can do to prepare for a tornado really is have an underground shelter.
Yes.
The reality of it is that you've got to get below ground or into something super sturdy. And so that's a rough one to prepare for. And like in Florida, the closest, we get tornadoes down here too. We had one go through our trailer park a few years ago, back to what you guys were saying. The finger of God came right down in his waiting room and he stirred some stuff around. But hurricanes are like that too. Only they last a hell of a lot longer. Tornadoes, short-lived, super damaging. So.
Well, and how fast that they show up. I mean, a tornado just drops out of nowhere in seconds. And when I think I was about 11, 12 years old, we were family of 5 living in a tent, one of those 4-person military canvas tents, them ugly. We lived in that for a year. That was entertaining to say the least. But a tornado actually went through just about a mile down the hill. And the only thing worse than being in a trailer in a tornado is a tent.
Especially a military canvas wall tent.
A military canvas tent.
Yeah. No, T and I talked about it when we saw each other this week. We were talking about maybe that's something we'll do a spin-off of, and he wants to do. He's talking about a root cellar at his place. And he has an idea, and I have an idea for a root cellar. Maybe I can get the property I leased, but a root cellar. But my relatives, when they lived in eastern Colorado and Nebraska, when I was a young man, that's basically what the root cellar was for. That was shelter from tornadoes. Yeah, you put food in it, stored food in it, but when you saw that you saw that tailwind coming down, or that funnel cloud coming down, it was time to go to the root cellar.
Hey guys, don't forget to do your hashtag AA Tumblr to get on the drawing, because we're going to do that here in just a few minutes. So if you're still hanging out, get on that, because that's coming up here in a couple of minutes. I've never been through a tornado. I've seen some at a great distance before, but hurricanes, I've been through bunches of them. Kind of like a tornado, just lasts a hell of a lot longer and not quite as strong. But 12 hours of 70, 80, 90 mile an hour winds.
You're pretty much in the middle of the state, aren't you?
Just about, just pretty much east-west. I'm just about dead center of the state.
I'm the same way. That's one of the reasons I moved from the Fort Bragg area, Southern Pines, up to Cherokee, North Carolina, because the 4 years that I lived out around there, 2 of those years, I had hurricane damage, and we're 150 miles from the coast. 150 miles from the coast, but I still had hurricane damage at my house, and I was like, time to move away from the coast. So
Yes.
we moved up into the mountains, and luckily, because of the terrain that I'm in, that's another advantage of living in the mountains is it's real hard for a tornado to touch down. They skip off the top of the ridges and go right back up. Yeah.
Just skips around. We had one just a couple years ago that touched down in Wilkesboro. We never knew it. We lost power, a little bit windy, but we had no idea.
Well, down here in the summertime, you get the thunderstorms every afternoon because where I live, you get the East Coast sea breeze, the West Coast sea breeze, and they collide kind of right over what's called the Central Florida Ridge, which is what I live on. And so you get these hellish thunderstorms every day. And it just depends on, sometimes they're east of us, sometimes they're west of us, depending on the winds and what was going on that day. But they usually, if they start west of us, we get them. If they start east of us, we don't get them. So it just depends on the day. But they usually take out power for a little while anyway, because trees trimming in Florida is a full-time occupation that's never, ever being done on time.
Never finished. Never finished
in Florida, man. Like I was just talking to my buddy. He's got one of those the shredders. It's on a skid steer. Like you can drop it onto a tree and it'll just grind it up.
Them things are awesome.
And he's got one, and I've got him. He's going to bring it out to my property, and we're going to underbrush I've got clumps of trees on my property, and there's a lot of palms under them. I want to grind all the palms down and build a look. I want to open fields of fire, a little broader than what I presently have.
So to speak.
Right.
No,
not implementing.
I'm opening fields of fire. I am opening shooting lanes. I am opening fields of fire. I need observation. I want to provide no cover or concealment for anybody approaching my perimeter. That's all. And I'll say it on
so to speak.
So to speak. In theory.
All right, if it makes you feel better.
I'll tell you what. I've actually been through 2 tornadoes, and I was outdoors. One of them, I was in the car.
Good thing you did not let go of that sheep, or you'd have been.
Oh, I know. She wasn't happy though. No, I was
grounded.
I actually drove through one. Not through the center of it, obviously, but I couldn't see anything, so I had no idea. But I wasn't stopping, and that was both of them were actually in eastern Colorado, and I saw everybody pulled over to the side of the road. And, it was great for me because I was like, "Woohoo! No traffic!" And I gave everybody the bird and kept going, and that was my tornado experience. They tell you that you're supposed to, seek a ditch, shelter underneath the overpass, or maybe you're not supposed to do that. Can't remember, but they tell you that you're not supposed to try to run from a tornado. And I'm going to tell you, we had one drop and I run. I mean, I hammer down and 100 mile an hour, I'm getting out of there. Maybe I don't make it. Maybe I do, but this whole, let's just pull down into a ditch thing didn't work for me.
Well, I can tell you, they say don't run from black bears too, but I ran from one before and I got away from him. He chased me all the way to my truck. Yeah. So
he's gonna at least be a little tired when he does catch me. I mean,
have a mouthful of shit when he gets there. He's gonna have a mouthful of shit. His first bite. That's all he's getting.
And there you have it. Words of wisdom from AA.
All right, guys, let's do our giveaway real quick, Holly. Let's spool it up and let's give away a tumbler. Here we go. I love this thing. It's like Wheel of Fortune. It spins so fast, and then it starts spinning slower and slower and slower. To me, it's hilarious. Look at that. Oh, Cold War Prepper. There you go. All right.
Cold War Prepper.
Hit us up. Email. Hit up Russ or me or Mel or somebody, and we'll get you. That's how you do it right there. Russ's email address. Thank you, Russ. And Russ, dude, I got your text late because I wasn't looking at my phone today. Glad you guys made it home. They were down here for, a week or so. We were trying to go out on a pontoon boat the whole time they were here, and it rained every day. And then they were going to leave, but decided, we don't need to leave. And they stayed a little extra day. But that afternoon, we were able to go out on the lakes. And so we took them through the chain of lakes up here on the pontoon boat. We had an awesome time. So good time.
Did I see that correct, too, on social media that you now have a pontoon as a gift? Is that what I saw?
Yeah, pretty much. Somebody might gave it to me. 22-foot pontoon boat with a 90 horse.
That's pretty awesome. That I looked at it, I was like, what? You get it. Now I need to start hanging out with Chris's friends.
Hey, look, I'm fixing to give away a camper. I'm fixing to give away a really nice camper, actually, to somebody that I don't need this thing. I tried to hook up one buddy with it. That didn't work out. He can't take it, so I'm going to give it to somebody else. I'm giving it to him because he needs it.
Man, 30 years ago, I'd have kissed your ass for that camper when I was living in that tent.
Hell yeah, you would. Well, this guy's almost in the same spot, but for different reasons. So I'm just going to give it to him.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So
I loaned Angery a rifle, and he thinks it was a gift. He hasn't given it back in 2 years. Just reminding him.
Hey, Sue, do you know where it's at?
That was not a gift, Angery. Yeah,
Do you know where that rifle is, Sue?
it's in Emery's possession.
Then it's still yours, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. You can only shoot one at a time.
Did he?
Where'd Emery go?
Emery
He
just
ran
took
away?
off. Like he's gone. He was like, you know what?
I heard
I'm
his
tired of hearing
feelings. I heard his
I was
feelings.
going to say, what, he got butt hurt, took his ball, went to the house? I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, he's like, I'm done. I'm done. You know, I'm tired of hearing about that rifle that you gave me.
That rifle that you gave me. So we've got an interesting case down here with Florida man that just took place. I want to get y'all's take on this. Sue, I'm really interested in your take. So there was an incident where this woman was in her house, and through her sliding glass door, she saw somebody on her back deck with a flashlight and shit looking around. So she goes and gets her husband. He comes out, yells at the guy to leave, runs back in, gets an AR, and comes back. And proceeds to send 30 rounds through his backyard at said subject with flashlight. Never hits him, thank God, because it was the pool guy.
I heard this story, yes.
No, crap.
And they shot him 30 times and never hit him. But it was the pool guy he hired. He just didn't tell him he was going to be there at 9 p.m. to do the pool. Pinellas County says that he will not be charged based on their stand your ground laws in the state of Florida. So I'm just curious to hear, as not being Florida residents, what you guys think of a self-defense situation like that, where you open your sliding glass door and you just mag dump your backyard. And I don't know if this is in a subdivision or if this guy was rural or what, but that would add some complexities to it. So what do you guys think of that?
The question is, because I have a similar situation. I caught my wife. I went to get drink. I was at a ceremony or a reception dinner, an awards banquet, and I went up to the bar to get drinks. And I came back, and my wife was talking and blushing, talking to one of her older I didn't know it was an older boyfriend or anything. But I could tell by the way she was talking, she was very nervous. So I walked up to this guy and I said, "Who are you, the pool guy?" And he goes, "Well, I might be the pool guy." And I said, "Well, we don't have a pool, so don't come to my house." You know?
Well, now you can bring up the story in Florida, you know, if that ever arises again.
Yeah, they do pool guys in Florida.
In Florida?
That's right. That's right.
No, I think the stand the ground thing. I question before you pull the trigger on anybody. It goes right back to gun safety. You know, what are you shooting at? What's your back? You know, what's your backstops?
Yeah.
And what's your reason for shooting at this guy? You know, if you're just standing on the back porch with a flashlight, it's not a life and death situation. Not yet.
And think of that amount of lethal force too. 30 rounds of 5.56 just zipping out there.
And it's that lack of training that gives the rest of us who want to own firearms and keep firearms as a way of protecting ourselves in our abode or our house. It makes everybody look foolish and just gives ammunition, pardon the pun, but it gives ammunition to the anti-gun advocates, and we lose personal possessions of firearms because they say, "Well, look at this guy. He's shooting at the pool board." So
right,
not a good
situation. That gives a bad name.
No.
With the 30 rounds, though, you know, Sue and I was talking about this here last week. We were doing a little training together, and in that heat of the moment, adrenaline pump, I actually popped off 14 rounds out of my pistol and didn't even realize I had. I thought I was shot 2 or 3 times, and that's how it happens, though. So yeah, you're correct. I'd say that it's not that castle doctrine or anything like that. We're talking about good gun safety and mental preparedness. We should probably know what we're shooting at, right?
Absolutely. That's like Sue said, the first rules of gun safety, right? But I believe in stand your ground laws. I believe in castle doctrines, and I believe in all those things. But I don't know if actually I'll be straight up honest. I don't believe this is justifiable shooting. I think this is an excessive use of force, and at the very least was reckless endangerment. Because, like Sue said, I doubt he verified a backstop, and he obviously didn't identify his target. He was shooting at a light in his backyard. How is a light a threat to you? I believe in everybody being able to defend themselves 100% with whatever level of force is brought against you. You should be able to use greater force than that, in my opinion, to defend yourself. However, someone walking around your backyard with a flashlight, how is that a threat to you? Other than there's somebody on your property, I get that.
Right.
But it just seems a bit much to me.
It's too much. It's too much. And, I'm sure I would imagine that this would be a different outcome if he would have actually hit this poor pool boy. I don't know. To me, maybe they're just trying to make it go away because nobody actually got hurt or killed. But I find it hard to believe that there would be nothing done if they would have riddled this guy, 30 times out the back. I don't see it either. I don't see that as a justifiable shooting.
First, it would have depended on the race of the pool guy.
There is
if he was white, it would have been nothing. We'd have never heard about it. And he has to be white because they said there's no charges and this guy's going to walk basically on this. So it has to be a white pool guy. Had he been anything other than that, it would be a federal case.
Yeah. Well, I remember during some of the rioting going on up there in St. Louis, that couple that came outside their home and defended their home with
didn't fire a shot, simply held weapons.
Never fired a shot. And when they finally got the pistol away from the wife, who had mustard stains all over her shirt, I don't know if you guys saw that, but
I did. She was eating a chili dog or something.
The police even admitted
a long way too.
Yeah, well, the police even admitted that pistol would have not have operated. She put it. Whenever she disassembled it and cleaned it and everything, she put it together wrong, and it would have never fired. But they
wasn't there something wrong with the AR-15 as well? Wasn't there something wrong with the rifle?
I didn't hear that. I just know that the pistol.
I thought there was something. Yeah,
not have operated. But that's my point. They stood out there and they said, "Okay, we're here. We're going to defend our home," and just standing there defending their home, that crowd walked down the street, and they, there was a bunch of words said and everything like that. But
they didn't do anything wrong.
I don't care what color you are or what your ethnicity is. Names, calling each other names doesn't hurt you. Matter of fact, that's protected under freedom of speech in the Constitution.
Now come on.
It doesn't say freedom of speech unless it hurts somebody's feelings. It doesn't say that in the Constitution.
But that's what they meant. We all know that because words are violence now. Remember that. You can be a drag queen and read a book to a child while exposing your genitals in this country, but you cannot read the Bible while at the same event. So remember that.
Well, we got to get back to some common sense. Common sense.
I'm gonna throw this up because
common sense basically equals life and death. And you got to remember when you're holding a firearm, you're holding the power of life and death. So use it with common sense.
Yes, we do. And I put this up because Nate brought it up. He said the pistol is inoperable because it was used as an exhibit in court case and never put back in working order. So that does make me question those people. And it's a good example of folks not accepting the gravity of the situation they're in, and they grab non-functioning firearms to confront a mob in front of their home. Mm-hmm. That's not a good plan. That's definitely not good plan.
Well, and that's
going to end up dead.
And T talked about the little bit of training we were doing. What we're doing is hoping to be able to pass this on to our listeners and to other people. is you have to prepare there's Emery and I teach a lot of shooting, and we teach more Emery than I, but we teach a lot of shooting. We teach a lot of pistol drills, a lot of AR drills. I teach long distance shooting. The thing is if you don't understand, or if you're not mentally prepared to take the responsibility for that shooting, whether you're drawing from the concealed or you're taking a rifle out of your home and going after a light in the backyard, there's a huge responsibility to that, and you got to prepare yourself mentally for that. And that's a part of firearms training that I think a lot of people are not getting. They go to the range, they understand the operation of the weapon, they understand that the rounds go down range, but they don't understand the mental ramifications of that, whether you're being shot at or you're the shooter. Am I right or wrong?
No, let's hold on to that for just a second, Sue. I want to run one more little promo for these guys, and then we're going to come back and finish talking about that, because that's a big deal. We're going to skip the other stuff we're going to do. I want to discuss this a little bit more. So, Holly, if we could, let's run this next little promo. We're going to come back and finish up with this topic.
A lot of us, when we're going through our food storage plan, we concentrate too much on that magical 3,000 calories a day number, which is not enough, by the way. And what we forget is the actual nutritional value of the food that we're storing. A lot of the food is just empty calories. Processed fats, sugars, carbohydrates, things like that. Things that aren't really helping us. Yeah, they're kind of like gas for the tank, but what grade gas is it? Are we running regular, or are we running high octane premium stuff? So one of the things we need to do is find a way to supplement the nutrients that we need with our storage food in a small form factor, compact, doesn't take up a lot of space, that kind of thing. And a few weeks ago, because of recent dietary and gastrointestinal issues, I had to stop eating fresh greens. Can't eat them no more. So I was looking for an alternative, because I love my greens, but I can't have them. And I found Brickhouse. Now, I know you guys have seen this stuff in other places, but I actually ordered this. They didn't give it to me, and I was a customer before I became an affiliate with them. And that's why I'm recommending it to you, because I'm not going to recommend something I don't use myself. This stuff's fantastic. First, it tastes really good. A lot of these things can be tough to swallow, but Brickhouse Field of Greens isn't. And I really like the berry. This is actually my favorite one, the berry flavored one. But with this, you get to replace all the vitamins and minerals that are lost through the preservation process for food. Canning destroys nutrient content. Freeze drying is bad for it too, and so is dehydrating. So you want to find a way to supplement that. One scoop of Brickhouse Field of Greens is your daily serving of fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables. Now, this is listed as a green, but it's fruits and vegetables. And it's how you can replace all that stuff in your diet. Because if you just exist on those empty calories and the processed fats and the carbohydrates and the sugars and all that stuff, you're eventually going to wear down. Mental capacities will be affected. Everything will be affected. And you'll just be less effective. You've got to keep your body running in top form. And you can do it with this. And the cool thing about the Brickhouse Field of Greens like these, and they have other products too, but this is the only thing I've used so far, so it's the only thing I'm talking about. This will fit right in the rucksack. And each scoop, one scoop out of this mixed in a glass of water, is your daily serving of fruits and vegetables. And what they contain is incredible. Spinach, parsley, kale, barley grass, organic wheatgrass. This sounds like what my food eats, but organic wheatgrass, spirulina, the algae, another algae I can't even pronounce, green pepper powder, green apple powder, green banana powder, sweet potato powder. These things are chock full of superfoods. And this is not a supplement. Brickhouse is food. This is a food, not a supplement. This can go right on the shelf beside your long-term storage food, small form factor that you can throw in a rucksack to help keep you going in the field as well. Check out Brickhouse at the link below, guys. Buy something, give it a shot. I'm a fan. I order it. I use it. I think you guys could too.
And I really actually do use it too. I was a customer before I became an affiliate. So.
No, it's good stuff too. I'm saying and it's great, like you said, for putting on the shelf.
That's the
long-term storage.
Because
I do that with the greens and with protein. Protein powder.
All veggies and fruits, number 10 cans. That's a lot of bulk, a lot of space. We also know there's a lot of dead space in those cans. So this is something in small form factor, goes on the shelf, go in a ruck, keep you running. So that's good stuff. But Sue, back to what you were talking about is mentally preparing yourself for that lethal encounter.
Yeah.
So books on combat, on killing, they go into these topics quite a bit. But a few years ago, the NBA did a study on visualization. And what they did is they had NBA players sit and visualize making free throws and making it. And they had to do this repeatedly and for long stretches of time where they would just sit and visualize making free throws and them going in. And every one of the players improved in their free throws just through visualization. So I think that's a tool that people can use to sit and not gore porn in your mind, but visualize yourself reacting to a lethal force encounter. Because that's something that you can, and I think people should do that and run through that stuff in your head. But you're not John Wick. Don't think like you're John Wick. You got to,
and you're exactly right. You don't. That's why dry fire is so important. You don't have to go to the range and burn up a case of ammo to say, I'm ready. I'm ready for the big bad world. What you got to do is mentally prepare yourself. And for every round that you send downrange, you should dry fire 10 times. Does that make sense?
At least.
You should prepare your mind for that. Yeah.
Well, it's like every day when I get up, put my gun on every day. I put my gun on and then I do a couple presentations, holster up, make sure I'm good. But at least 2 a day, 3 a day, just to get into that habit. I also condition check my gun.
Muscle memory.
Well, it's not muscle memory. Muscle memory is a myth. And I wish Angery was here because he'd go on a rant. Sue, you know his rant by heart on muscle memory?
Come on, Sue. Hit us with that rant because...
No, I don't know that rant by heart.
So here, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of the rant. There's no such thing as muscle memory. What you're doing is you're building neural shortcuts in your brain. You're not training the muscles of your body because they have no way to retain memory or anything else. What you're doing is creating shortcuts in your brain so that it's just like driving. When we're driving, we're doing other things. Some people could be on their phone. We might mess with the stereo or the GPS, or we're thinking about something. We're not thinking about driving the vehicle. Because we've done it so many times and so much that our brain knows exactly what we want to do in our subconscious, allowing our conscious mind to focus on other things. And it takes 5,000 repetitions of that act to get there. And I know you know that part, Sue.
Yeah. I did a lot of push-ups in the Army. I can do a push-up in my sleep. Yeah.
Well, then once again, we come right back to that mental game. I mean, it's mental. You're building that side of your psyche to register what it's supposed to do without thinking about it.
Well, and I think you guys said it last week, is getting your mind ready for any situation. All right. Well, we talked about tornadoes and hurricanes on this episode. I could T and I, we live close to each other in North Carolina, but we could prepare our little segment of the world all we want, and then it could be gone tomorrow in a brush fire, a forest fire. Everything could be gone. But what I like doing about it and experimenting and talking to you guys and talking to the people that listen to us and answering emails is I get ideas. I go out and I experiment with them. And then I have that knowledge up here, whether it's with a firearm, whether it's gardening, whether it's using, hand tools or mechanicking or anything. I have that knowledge that I can start over. So I want to. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is pure power. If you learn that and you get it, and T and I talked about this, you have to learn by actually touching and doing, and that's where you get the repetition for that muscle memory. So even if you lose everything you have, you still have the confidence to build it all back up again, and it's preparing your mind for that.
Well, KW here brings up a point. They say, I know this is out there. I believe firearms training isn't enough. I have learned so much more in hunter safety classes. I agree with that. However, you're not taking proper training from the proper instructors is what I'll tell you. If you go take a class with Tactical Rifleman, or you take one with Emory Morgenstern at Prime Combat Training, or you take one with NC Scout at brushbeater.org, those guys are going to give you real-world training. Sue is part of Tactical Rifleman, so Sue, I'm lumping you in with him. But these guys are going to teach you real-world stuff. They'll put you under pressure, okay? People that go to the range and stand there on a square range and stand there with their feet well off the ground and punch holes in paper, you're not teaching yourself anything. You're feeding your ego because your group's getting tighter, but staying at their feet welded to the ground, you're not doing crap. Unless you're working against a shot timer or movement while you're shooting, or inducing malfunctions into a weapon while you're shooting and moving and doing these things. That's the real world stuff. Like I watched a donut operator. I don't know if any of you guys watch Donut on YouTube, but I love Donut Operator. He's a good dude. He did a video not too long ago of a woman who turned and pointed a weapon at the police, and she got lit up. She actually didn't die, but they hit her a bunch of times. And when they got her weapon and cleared it, she had the rounds in her magazine backwards. Backwards. So you've got to train. And I mean, I don't want those people to train. None of us want those people to train. We want them to stay the idiots they are.
I'll point out, I heard some coyotes in the backyard. I think I told T about this. We had another visitor that I brought with me. He was one of my students, one of Angery's students from the long range course. And I heard some coyote pups out in the backyard. My young healer was running along the fence line, so I know it wasn't her. And I was like, oh, those are coyotes over there. And I asked him, I said, you want to go call in some coyotes? And I said, we got to go over here in the certain part of the ditch. And I said, when it gets dark, we'll put up the coyote probe. We'll try to call them in, and then we can actually shoot across my pasture and try to get these coyotes. Oh, yeah, great idea. Well, this guy disappeared for 45 minutes, and I was like, well, it's getting dark. Are you going to come with me or not? And then he showed up with his range bag, and he's had his shooting mat and everything. And I was like, no, put all that crap down. That's what you do on the range when you go and you shoot and you get all prepared and everything. No, we're going hunting now. You're going to lay in the dirt. You're going to be down in a defilade. And you're not going to move, and you're going to hope that these coyotes come in. And they didn't come in. But my point is, he thought he needed to be prepared to go out there. And if people train on the range, I can give an example of law enforcement using whistles. When I was a corrections officer here in the state of Arizona, when I was flunking out of college, we all went to training with the corrections officers. They used to use whistles. They used to use whistles a lot, for range, for controlling the range. They'd whistle for ceasefire. They'd whistle for drop your magazines. They'd whistle for that. And then a deputy out here in Maricopa County, it was in his after action report. He was in a gunfight. He heard a whistle and he dumped his magazine during a gunfight.
Yep.
So you're only as good as your training. So you're
You're
exactly
going to fight
right.
how you train. You're going to fight how you're trained. And on that note, we're going to call it an evening, fellas. You guys got any last words of wisdom or foul language for Angery, since he's not here to defend himself?
Yeah, I did get a text from Angery. He says he apologizes. His cell phone conked out on him, so he apologizes to the co-hosts and to the audience. But he will.
That's right.
Get a new computer tomorrow.
That's what he said. New computer.
He said he already said he spent a bunch of money buying crap, so he's going to be real excited about that. And so guys, next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel. I won't be here. I might be up in tactical rifle territory up in Cadiz, Kentucky. So
sweet.
We'll see what happens. But till then, you guys know the drill. Be good or be good at it.
All right.
That's it. Next time.